mad. Decided I'd do some interior stuff. So you may remember the templating video. I was making the templates for the inside of the car. So this is traced from the template my young bloke did for a EH door card. So I've marked the spot where the door handle opener goes, but no spot for windows because they are fast glass. And just drew the dots where the pins need to end up. So I'm going to trim this with the jigsaw and then just start to fit it up. It's only going to be I've gone a little bit oversized just so I can let myself sort of sneak up on it and around the edges all nice and everything with sander. It's just 3mm melamine with I get it with the plastic backing on it, so the plastic backing can go towards the inside of the door and just help give it some moisture protection. Alright, so doing a bit of mucking around with design. I've got these mad chrome trims that are apparently pretty rare, but no one wanted to buy them, so I'm going to cut them up. So what I'm thinking is, I've got a door trim here. There's no window crank handle that goes there. It's just an old handle. I actually like these ones. I don't like the armrests with the. I just don't like them. I prefer these. What I'm thinking is I'm going to put one of these, cut it up so that it sits sort of about to there. So I reckon from the top, like, just give me a bit of space from the handle, just like that. So the trim will come through and stop here, and there'll be nothing under, no piece of trim under this handle here, and the trim will start from the back of the handle and go right through to the back of the door trim. And what I can do is use the other end of it in the back seat, so this line of trim will continue right through the car. Gives it a bit of continuity, even though the level changes, it'll make it look like it's meant to be there, which is something that I like. Pretty simple way to do it. I've actually got old leather off a couch that has this really nice seam in it. So if I run this chrome across here and the seam across this bottom third, it'll just break up the space, and I mean, it won't be, you know, flash bloody mad expensive interior leather job, but it will be leather, it'll be black, it'll match the seats, it'll match the back of the car. It'll be the first time I've ever had leather door trims in a car, and I think it'll look pretty clean, pretty simple, but it'll look like, you know, it'll look like what they would have done sort of back in the 60s and 70s and stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to do that, and we'll have a look at it when it's done. This has been just trimmed down until I'm happy with it. Once I've got this all done, I'll flip it over and replicate it for the other side. One thing I can do here is actually just measure about yay far, and I can put a bolt, like an Allen key, a button head cap screw, through the door trim, through everything, and just suck that middle of that door trim back, because there's quite a curve on an EH door on the inside. There's quite a curve, and door trims are flat, obviously, so you've got to push them in and hold them with clips, and they just sort of bow out in the middle a bit. Normally the door handle holds them in, puts all that stuff under stress, but also just if I could just get that bolt in and just suck the middle of the door trim in just nice, and I think it'd be a good plan. Let's see how I go. If you're anything like me, and if you are, you have my pity. You have a box full of these old Holden door trim clips that you've pulled off every set of door trims you've ever seen that have gone to shit because of the weather. So these are little spots I've marked where the holes line up in behind the trim, and you actually drill the hole for them a long way off center. And I've made this mistake before, so don't make it, but pretty much where the end of this tip, where the tip of this bit is where, pretty close to where that will end up. It's not bang on, but it's close. So you drill the hole a long way away, so when you push the clip in, it winds up with the tab just covering that point, and then that will clip into place. Gives you lots of meat to pull in with the clip. A lot more space on the back here to wrap the covering over, and use adhesive to stick it down. So I'm just going to drill out all these. I decided to use the clips to go all the way around it. I've got my steppy drill to drill them out with, and I'm actually going to punch through and then finish it from the back side because it's tearing it out a fair bit, and I want that torn out bit to wind up covered. Okay, so that's all my clips fitted. Got plenty of meat around the edge, pretty happy. See, I'll fuck this one up here, but you can just sort of grind a bit more out. Better too little than too much. These clips, I've actually got some new ones that I've had for a while, just waiting for a rebuild. So I think the biggest issue I'm going to have here is figuring out how to get the rear ones, all the clips and everything aligned for the rear trims. Sort that out. Test fit. Pretty good. A little bit of space around the edges to allow for the leather to fold over and glue down, all happy. We'll cut some little notches in the front and rear edge where the seam will go, just to give that a little bit extra space. I'm pretty happy with how it sits. I'm just going to have to figure out how far. I think about there. It's about as far as, it's got to look sort of right to the eyeball. That's how far forward I want that chrome piece to go. And then I'll just run it from the back right through to there. So when you shut the door, it'll get picked up on the rear door trim. I'll put another piece that matches it in. So there's continuity front to back. I plan to replicate this red bit on the rear door trim, but I can't match the profile fully because of where it sits in the car, which is a bit of a shame, but at least there'll be the same colour there. And we'll probably give it a bit of shape like that. We'll have to have it upright instead of leant back. This has got a bit of an angle on it. See how we go. Alright, but before I get too carried away, I'm just going to sort of set out where I want the chrome strips and about where I want the seam of the leather. So in photography there's a concept of thirds. So if you consider dividing a frame into 3 spaces, bottom third in this case is here. Well, this is the divide if I divide the space between this point and this point evenly, and it just looks a little low, so I came up to where this space here will be equal to this space here in distance. Now that's 156 millimeters according to my measure. Sure, there's a motor trimmer out there who can tell me that it's wrong, but that's what I'm going with. So I think that'll look the best. The bottom edge here gets hidden, sort of, obstructed from view by seats and whatever else. So I think to have a slightly larger space at the bottom won't matter. I'm just going to wing it anyway. So what I'm going to do now is trim up some chrome pieces to fit. So I'm going to leave a tiny gap there'll be the back of the chrome piece, and then it'll come to here. So what I've gone with is, it's got to look right. So aesthetically, if I keep equal distance from the front to the top, so that 156 millimeters, I'll measure that back. I think that'll be about right. And then just a tiny little gap to this, and then a tiny gap again, and at the back of the door trim, I'll fix it. So I'll cut up those bad boys and put them on there. And I think I might actually sit them on there, paint the whole thing black and stick it in the car and just have a look, see what I reckon. Or I'll just put the leather on it and wing it. One thing I'm not going to do, I don't want to pad the leather out. I think I've got some very thin stuff that I might be able to use just to give it a little bit of keeping away from these holes ability, but I don't want it like super thick. I've had that before and it just, I don't know, it just didn't look right. So I've drilled out some 4mm holes for my chrome pieces, chrome trim pieces. I think it's going to look pretty good. Pretty well. Oh, all I did on the ends here is just sort of peen them over with a body hammer and smooth them out a little bit. Managed to use these clips that were already attached, so they'll just push through and bend out. Now, if they don't work, I can use just a mushroom head screw, and you just put it through, and it sits in the curved profile, and the wings of it, sort of the head sits inside the curved profile real nice, and you just drop the bolt on the back and then snip it off, so it doesn't hit anything. But I'm pretty happy with that. I think that'll look pretty trick. I'm going to go stick it in the car and see if my suspicions are confirmed. I think this is going to be sick. Only thing is going to be parallax error, so I might need to just mod the holes on my little door handle at the back there and just rotate that whole piece so that I can bring this up to just look like it sits in line. I think it just needs to maybe be a bit higher. That's if I can be fucked. But I think it's going to work good. I'll got to pull this before I get too excited. I'll pull this apart and trace it onto the other side so that I've got two trims the same. It'll put all the door trims and put all the trim pieces and everything in the same bit. I think it just gives it a bit more. I could even maybe go without this front piece at all. Maybe I'll do that. Decisions. So, as is often the case with me, I can never build something once, so I have to build it 4 times. So, I was showing the missus and the middle child my door trim, and both of them said, "Why doesn't that go all the way along? It looks wrong." And after some looking at it, I thought maybe they got a point. So I built it all the way along. The problem is that leaves me one of these profiles short, I think, for the back. I know I can weld it. Well, sorry, I know it can be welded because it's stainless. And I do have a TIG, so maybe I can give it a crack, but I'm pretty shit at it. So we'll just have to see. But I think this is going to actually work okay. I'm just going to leave this video here. And I'll put the leather on it and show you guys the finished product some other day. I've still got the templates done for the whole back section, so I'm going to maybe pull them out and make those trims first, just to see if I can see how that goes, see if I've got enough of the board to make them first. And I have to redo the rear window actions because they're not good enough as well. Just needs to work better. I think they're going to rattle once I'm maxed out at about 105 kilometers an hour in this 250 horsepower beast. Peace.